if everything is fine in your body or anything like this, because a lot of people have an Alzheimer's and stuff like this. Basically, the brain is literally eating itself, but this would be a lot of other situations, maybe drinking, smoking, chemicals, and you don't know what you're being exposed to with the years, you know. So, but if we're talking about structural, if you talk about time and realities, this is the reason why you don't have a memory of it, because you shifted the timeline.
Thank you. That
You're,
makes sense.
yes.
Another questions, how we are bombarded with bad news kind of about people that are completely evil. How do we kind of make our minds to kind of like coincide with this reality and to be able to kind of make a positive out of that completely mess that is happening around us?
Well, thank you for the question. Control of your thoughts, that's the truth. You have to learn to control your thoughts. You have to choose to tune in into vibrational sequences of material that are basically from the heart. So instead for me to watch a news about bombing and what happened somewhere and stuff like this is not an ignorance. Let me put that clear. Somebody, when they do stuff like this, is programming your consciousness to stay in that vibration. That doesn't mean it's something not going on there yet. Understand that the people that are going through something like this are going through something like this by agreements in the name of humanity, so the rest of humanity wakes up what's really happening, where the manipulation was coming from. In actuality, once you know that this is there, if it's not in your platform, if it's not in front of your home, then you don't have to. If you want to engage to help through money or to help the person in a situation, that's fine. Always do it through the heart. But if you're constantly reading about it, if you're constantly watching negative movies, oh, what is the big deal if I just play a bit of a shoot up movie and stuff? Okay, that's fine. But if you do this all the time, believe it or not, even if you don't want to, you're starting to resonate in that frequency all the time. It becomes a part of your reality. If you get a glass and you tune in frequency, I'm sure you've seen this video. All of a sudden, even if it's a little tonality you shoot in, eventually that glass is gonna stop vibrating so fast that it's gonna shatter, even if you do it for 20 minutes. That's because the duration of this time you stay with that frequency so much that all of a sudden all the molecules of this glass end up taking that resonance. The same thing is happening with the body. You may see it once, you may see it twice, but if you constantly stay in the negative inputs, movies, news, anything else like that, eventually you're gonna start to resonate in that, because the frequency that they're sending you is very big, potent modality of tonality all the time, on and on and on and on. So you don't have anything else to release the pressure out of that. So that's why if you want to know the news, if you want to see that stuff, see something. But then what do I do to make it better? We then transform it. Go into a positive stuff. Read about ecosystems. Learn about scientists. Go into free energy technology. That a lot of scientists are out there that post it on YouTube, free energy technologies, and everybody's talking about it. Support a proper system. There are places that you can do eco-village. People are doing tiny homes and tiny houses that you don't have to pay this type of amount of money. People build for $3,000 homes already from eco stuff, you know. So tuning into this stuff so we can start supporting, tuning into, I made a whole platform for you guys so you can start interacting with each other. It's all up to you. I'm going to see my reality, because what do I do every day? Why do you think I'm helping every day like this? Do I expect anything? No, I'm just doing it. If I get something, I get something through gratitude. But I'm doing it all the time because what am I doing? I keep projecting resonance from my heart into my quantum field all the time, because I want to see abundant society and structures. Because then I'm going to shift my timeline from something that is worse than anything into something positive, when humanity is going into fifth dimensional structure in utopia society, interstellar. That's what I'm doing. That actually I'm using the quantum structure and the alchemy of creation to create my own timeline of reality so I can see that. That is the reason. So if you really understand the vast information of that and how powerful you are, you can start using, but tune yourself into these platforms, because the only way for you to see these platforms if you are being the vibration of it. That
Yeah,
means
yes,
you can
yes.
act.
Yes, I do understand because I am drawn to those ideas of, free energy, those kind of ideas of creating, interested in tiny houses, like you mentioned, other things that are happening. However, my spouse, of course, well, he dwells on the negative, and we are bombarded all the time with news
But
and.
that's okay. That's okay. It doesn't matter because remember, even your spouse is a projection from your consciousness. So you gotta neutralize that and accept his level of understanding without putting yourself on top on the level. It's very difficult. I understand that because I have a situation not every single time my children or husband understand what I'm saying. And yet, if I ask for video, if I ask for something to be helped, I will be helped. But that doesn't mean that necessarily they understand every single thing that I talk about. So you gotta neutralize that input in your situation. You be the beacon, you learn about it, you tune in, and what's gonna happen eventually, you're gonna start creating a reality. All of a sudden your spouse can say, that's very interesting the other day that you will look into, because I just saw somebody said something and I didn't write about that. What was that about? And this is how things will start happening for you. And yet, because it's infinite of probability, he may never get to that level, but then maybe in some other situation, you will see something different that is not going to bother you anymore. Remember, everything you see, you project out of your hologram, even your children. It looks like matter, but it's actually a holographic expression of the same particle that you're projecting in front of you. So no judgment there, just let it be. Remember, accept the entire structure without judging it, neutralize it, and you be the beacon of whatever you want to do. You engage yourself without looking what somebody else is doing, because there's nobody outside of you.
Can you give a good example of neutralizing?
Yes. For example, if somebody comes to you and start arguing with you and says horrible stuff to you, I had a couple of situations, people say, what are you doing and how you doing? What I did was, like, I look at the person and I immediately, what do? I stop, because I want to stop, and I know I'm a hologram. I know this is a projection of my consciousness. What can I do to make the situation better? And this happens very quickly because now I practice this for so long. So I can just pull out, and I said, I totally understand. That doesn't mean I'm going to allow the person for me to be punching back for that person. But I'm going to stop the person and I'm going to say, well, thank you very much. Because in my mind, I'm seeing latitude, altitude in my hologram of the quantum structure. Where I'm at in the quantum structure. Well, I'm this reality right now. Well, I don't like what's happening because we are arguing. Then I will pull out. Maybe I'll go to the next room or do something, or maybe I'll say, listen, let's not just talk about it right now. Do something to pull yourself out so you can calm yourself completely. Or if you can do this very quickly, you can say, well, thank you very much. Can we just discuss it in a different way? So whatever you action give and start taking, let it be from the heart, without attacking, without going after the person, because you're projecting a completely different frequency of vibration, and that is going to give you probability for completely different reality. I had a video on fluctuating realities. This is what you need to watch. Marina Jacobi, Fluctuating Realities, Part 3 of Quantum Manifestation. Okay. Talks about how you're fluctuating and how it goes up and down depending. So you need to pull out, neutralize it, and take an action towards the person from the heart. If that person continues, you continue putting positive on and positive on. Eventually, if you have to completely move out, you move out, but you gotta let it be without basically judging, because sometimes you may have a lesson that if that person is constantly abusive, constantly hitting you, constantly doing something verbally, maybe your lesson was to just not sit there and move on. So everybody has individual lesson, yet understand that you have to gain your sovereignty because you are in power. Nobody's holding the power over you. So if you want a sovereignty, just take it in a nice way from the heart. You can always be polite by this process. You don't have to be rude.
Thank you. Yes, that's very helpful.
Thank you. Any other questions? More question, guys? Anybody? Very quiet today.
We have a question in the chat room.
Oh, hi, Marina.
Hi, Jenny.
Hi, so I'm going to be brave today. Hold on.
Okay, very good.
Hello. Oh, no, I guess.
Hello.
But anyways. Hi, thanks again for this session.
You're welcome.
I was wondering if you could talk more about vaccines. You know, I've vaccinated my children in the past, and now I've changed my mind about this. Can we change the timeline for our children? You know, or we just have to remove the fear of what happened? I don't know. I'm just confused about vaccines.
Listen, I publicly, the truth is I cannot give advice who should vaccinate the child and who shouldn't, because I'm not a doctor, and I have to basically, because I am a public figure, I cannot tell you what to do and what not to do. I can tell you what I did. What I did was I did a lot of research. I found out that it's a lot of situations through the chemicals, including mercury, thimerosal. I found out that my pediatrician had no idea that this was in vaccines. She actually had to order a special vaccine. Then I found out from my guidance that in the vaccines are also nanoparticles that are changing the DNA, you know, of the system. So this is what my information was. So how are you going to take that information? I'm not telling you to vaccine or not vaccinate your child. I'm telling you what I did. So finally, I did for me a religious exemption, and the reason I did that because I didn't want to take any chances with my children anymore because of what I've learned. There is a movie that it's called Vaxxed, V-A-X-X-E-D, and you can watch it because it talks a lot about that information. And gather all the information because it's fundamental how you do. You must understand that when you damage the DNA, the body cannot take the new frequencies in. Basically, for ascension process, they start to resonate in a different sequence and damages your DNA, your brain cells, and everything else follows like a chain reaction from everything. So this was some kind of a agenda from a certain groups, but yeah, this is, I'm not judging them if this is their belief system, but the whole thing, what I want to point out here, in order for you to change, you don't go after them to change, you change yourself, you change your behavior and your implementation, how you want to do stuff. It's always a way to do it if you wish to do so. You don't have to follow the entire structure like everybody else. You can do your own research, you can make your own decisions, and nobody can tell you what to do with your own children. Gain your sovereignty. You are in power. Find the proper links, find the proper information, protect yourself the way you want to be, you know, and then you can make the right decision for your child if you want to vaccinate it or not. And who said that the children's got to be in the school system? I discover one of the professors, it's Duke Pesta on YouTube, and he talked about Common Core. So I went on one of his stuff and I realized what's happening in the system. I'm not going to discuss certain names and individuals, but go and watch Common Core Duke Pesta, and you're going to realize why I end up main decision to pull my kids out of the school system. And now they studying their own stuff. They doing all my money I'm putting into their own education because I wanted to put them out of the matrix of that three-dimensional reality. This is my decision, my reality. What am I doing? I'm making my own timeline. I don't judge anybody else, whatever they do, or they put in the kids in the school system. I decided to take an action. Why? Because I want to make my own matrix of reality. I don't have to follow somebody else's implementation of instructions. You are the master of your reality. Take your sovereignty back.
So, but I guess I just worry if there has been any so-called damage with their DNA, can it be repaired and like just from then on, just changing that so they are.
With the new systems and the new implementations, all will be repaired with the new wave of energies that are coming. My thing is here, how you're going to proceed from your own platform.
Okay, Thank
That's
you.
your decision, but I have no right to tell you how you should do. I'm telling you what I did.
Well, I can tell you that I opted out my children from the very beginning from Common Core, and I work in a school, so I'm like the lone wolf in the school, and I work there.
I did opt it out, and I remember in Facebook I ended up posting something about what was that? I got very angry because I realized something in the history that everybody was talking about Holocaust, and I love all the history and stuff like that, and I totally respect what just people went through. But in actuality, Bulgarians, we went through 500 years under Turkish occupation, that we went through enormous pain. Then you have the Armenians. Actually, the biggest genocide was from a Russian, I forgot his name, Holopopoulos or something like that, that actually genocide more than millions of people. And then the posting like this for information, and people got angry. Why do you get angry? You need to find the information, how much you're being manipulated, because it's not only this system and that system. All of us through history, no matter what type of a place we went through something to learn from. So why you keep pinpointing and judging this culture or that culture? Well, every culture has something to learn. That's all, end of the story. So the whole thing is to unite with each other, to start helping with each other, and forgive each other. That's all.
Yes.
You know, so do your research. You know, very, very important to do the research. I always said, gather the entire information. See how things are. Going to alternative. Watch different movies and documentaries that are an alternative, you know, media, because a lot of information is there that is not in the mainstream. Don't think that every single time you go to this main servers you're gonna find some stuff. Actually, there were a couple of books that I heard from certain people. They were completely taken away because it was talking about specific structures that nobody wanted you to know. And these books, you can't find them anymore. How is this possible? So find your alternative media and start doing a lot of research, compare stuff, you know, and don't go into negative structures every time, because then you're gonna start vibrating in a negative platform. Gain your education, but then use the quantum structure to transform your timelines and realities. That's the goal.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
Yes, I have one.
Oh, come on, honey. I see a cute voice.
Speak up.
Hello.
Louder.
Hi, beautiful. Look at that beauty, America.
Louder. Louder.
I'm 10 years old and I have a question.
Go ahead.
So, like, I get bullied at school a lot, and, like, they drag me to the ground and stuff. What do I say to them to, like, make them leave me alone?
Oh, honey, I'm so sorry what happened to you, but I have to tell you that I was really bullied at school too for a long time. To this day, I remember these girls that did that to me, and I know how you feel. It's really, really, really painful. But what I can tell you that, remember when I was discussing how you can imagine, the only reason why they bully you is because they feel empowered by overpowering somebody, makes them feel good. And that is a wrong illusion of something to, actually they feel in pain from within, and they think when they put you down, that will bring them sort of power. But they don't know how to use the power. What you can do is to remember that everything has to come from the heart. Even if they, as long as doesn't get physical, you know, you can keep projecting positive and positive. You don't have to engage with them. You don't have to do the stuff. But the whole thing is, if it gets really too much at school, then you really have to reconsider, maybe it's not the right place for you to be. And yet, don't go through hatred. Understand that these girls are a projection of your consciousness, and you're learning a lesson for forgiveness. That's why this is happening. You have to forgive them what they're doing, because obviously they're learning a lesson. Otherwise, they will not try to bully you like that. But if it gets too much, maybe you need to discuss with your parents if this is really the right place for you to do, because Sometimes at your age, it's very difficult to control these emotions, for you to completely control, to constantly stay in your center and to project positive and positive and positive and positive. Sometimes you have to move on. Is mommy there?
The people that bully me are the real popular people.
Usually this is exactly what happened to me, was the too popular girl in the school, and I was part of them. I discovered somebody was stealing something. I end up mentioning, my stepfather mentioned something, and here we go, I became the biggest, they bullied me through the entire 3 years, you know. So I totally understand that perhaps depending on how tough this situation is, you need to discuss this with your parents if you really need to stay there. Because not every time you will be able to control your emotion to override whatever they're doing.
But I have discussed it with my parents, and they have done things. And those girls at school, they pass out pills to each other, and when I try to stay away from them and avoid them, they always come find me and just keep doing it.
They will tell your parents that they will not stop.
I have.
They're not on a level to understand that. They keep continuing even if they try to do that, right?
Mm-hmm. But my mom said that it's okay. I can go through it just a little bit longer because it's almost leap test time, where I have to take the leap test. Then I'll go to a new school anyways.
All right, so you end up handling. So what do you think you should do now for these girls? What do you need to do for these girls?
Like,
you want to forgive them, right?
yeah, give them time.
Yeah, you need to forgive them because they feel the need to feel empowerment, and they taking that in the wrong way from a different perspective. You need to be the beacon of love and to show love by projecting it. So you just forgive them, honey.
Okay. But I want to attack them so bad when they do it.
I know how you feel, believe me. I felt the same thing. Yeah, I know, but see, this is how you become a master of your reality, when you learn how to shift your emotion from anger to something positive. Because you chose to have that experience so you can learn how to transform the energies. Do you understand that? You are here to master your reality. And the only way you can master the reality if you are challenging that reality, so you can really become a powerful, powerful being, because you are powerful. That's why you're going through that experience. Do you understand how powerful you are?
Hold up for a second, okay?
Yes. So cute.
Yeah, if you want to.
Well, I ride horses at my mom's friend's house, and it takes it off my mind.
And what?
It takes it off my mind when I ride horses.
It takes it off her mind when she rides horses.
Oh, very good. So you have a connection. Well, see, why don't you connect the horses all the time with you? So when you have a situation, bring in your mind thinking of the horses. And then I can give you another thing, the way my guidance ended up teaching me. When somebody, they said to me, when somebody comes to you and start hurting you and doing stuff like this, they said me to connect it with a little puppy. They said, if you see a little puppy biting you, they said, are you going to be upset at that puppy? I said, no, I'm going to say, oh, hush, go away and play. And they said, yes, but if you see a big dog, you're going to say, well, who is that dog? And you're going to be upset. And I said, yes, of course. And they told me, well, think of these people like the little puppy. These girls, they can be beautiful and they can be popular, but that doesn't mean they're in a level, for example, a big dog. They could be in a level like a little puppy that needs to learn. So when you go and when you know that the horses are the ones that make you feel good, go in your mind and think of the horses, because that vibration is a feelings, and it's going to be helping you to transform the emotion when they, for some reason, end up hurting you. Can you do that? Okay, why don't you handle like a little horse, maybe a little figure in your hands and somewhere in your stuff, that all the time when you see it, you have a physical attachment to that. At school, to carry it to school.
little thing.
So when something happens, you look at the horse and think horses, beautiful horses, so you can take your mind of the girls into the beautiful horse. So you'll be able easily to transform. Can you do that?
Yeah. But whenever like they're bullying me one time, and they I was thinking about the horses because I would ride them bareback and stuff. I didn't even realize that they were like bullying me at the time because I was thinking about the horses.
You already did that?
I did.
That's right. So see how the horsey end up helping you. So get a little figure with you and hold it. It's cool. And anytime that something happens, just put your mind towards that. And I can tell you that what you're doing is actually shifting your reality from their reality to brand new one. Do you understand that? Do you want me to explain a little bit better for you? If this is them with you and they're not nice, you know, they kind of mean and scary, right? And you're with them, and the moment you start thinking about the horsey, you end up shifting your reality into a completely new one that because you're shifting your consciousness, you're shifting your thoughts, but everything that you're shifting, remember, you're shifting in another hologram that you're creating. And there is the beautiful horsey. And you think with the heart for that. So all of a sudden, your intention of the mind is not staying with the girls that are mean, it's staying whatever you feel good. And all of a sudden, this reality is not going to matter to you. And if you learn to shift that all the time, on and on and on and on, to train yourself to do that moment, if it doesn't get physical, then you have to pull out. If you do that, you're going to create a completely new timeline that all of a sudden the girl's going to go away, or they're going to move, or something's going to happen that no longer they're going to exist in your reality. Can you try to do that? Maybe mommy can tell you again what I said. That's why it's going to be in the video. Maybe you want to watch it a couple of times. And this platform is actually an example for everybody, not only for children. Shift your consciousness and implementing is something completely that relates in a positive in order for you to switch the timelines and the realities. Does that make sense, honey?
A little bit.
All right, mommy's gonna explain a little bit better when you get home, but understand that when they're talking to you in a negative way and you start thinking about the horsey in a positive way, that reality for them is no longer existing. You are in completely new reality. And if you try to stay there, they're not going to matter anymore what they're doing. Something is going to happen that they no longer will be in your reality eventually. Mommy, can you explain that to her later again?
Yes, yeah, she's got it. Yeah.
Okay, all right. So you have it in the video. So if you have to go back, you can go back.
Yeah.
This platform is for everybody. It's not only for children. Thank you so much, honey. You're beautiful, and I'm sure you're going to do great. Thanks so much for listening to this. You're such a brave girl. I'm so proud of you.
I'm very nervous.
As she was sitting there saying, I want to ask a question. I want to ask a question.
Very good. So cute. You will do well, honey. You will do so good. I'm so proud. Okay, everybody, any other questions?
Yeah, we're at 8 o'clock, so.
We have a lot
Okay,
of questions.
8 o'clock.
There are a lot of questions in the chat room. Maybe if people would write them down and bring them back in a couple of weeks, you know, or they can email you.
There's a lot of questions in the chat room. If you guys bring it back next time and somebody's gonna read them, so I'll be able to answer your questions again. But the best way to do is if you ask me live, so we'll be able to interact all the stuff. Okay? Well, thank you so much for coming. Jason, what time is it? You didn't
It's 8:01, yeah.
Oh, okay, 8:01. All right, thanks so much for everybody. I love you, and I'm happy that we connected. I would like to challenge you maybe the next 2 weeks to challenge yourself to do something from your heart for somebody without expectations. And let's discuss it next time. You know, tell me your experiences, what happened, how you did it, how you implemented the quantum structure, who did you help if you wish to do so, and what shape and form. Because that is the movement. That's how we do it. Stay from within. And I love you all. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, Marina. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
Thank
Marina.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.